Time for you to go. That came as a surprise.
Absolutely.
And it came after a break of an hour and a half where I'm sure conversations were being held. And you were expecting something totally different. What happened?
I don't even know when they came up with this plan, because literally I saw where everybody was during the entire break. Like, we literally all sat in a circle, and when people went off, it was like literally only one person was gone at a time. Like, one person would use the porta potty and come back. It wasn't like groups were going off. And so I'm like, that's why I'm so surprised, is it really seemed, as much as the simple vote is always suspect, I didn't see groups forming in the break. And I mean, there was a little bit of a scramble otherwise, because we were paranoid about Orange potentially having an advantage and potentially screwing something up. But this is a total blindside.
If it wasn't happening during that break, when was it put together?
I don't know if it happened. It might have happened right there. So I think what happened is, I was playing way too hard, and I recognized that at the Becca vote, and I just it's hard to stop once you start, because you're like, you kind of, instead of slowing down and like taking a ball out of the air, you just keep like juggling all of them. And so that's what I was trying to do. And I think what happened is I would fill people in when I wasn't supposed to. Like, I was really trying to get Rachel with what I thought was going to be an alliance of me, Rachel, Julia, Anthony, and pull in Bobby. And we were going to blindside Louie after this vote. So I thought, but I really was giving Rachel a lot of information. So I don't know if there was some kind of scramble where she was trying to save David, because they were kind of close. Maybe I shouldn't have told her that it was David, but I'm wondering if that was what the scramble was happening back there, because Orange was huddling up. Maybe they kind of split and conquered. They each took different people aside to get me. I don't know. It's mind blowing. Maybe, like, obviously Julia and Anthony weren't that loyal to me.
So what was supposed to happen in your mind? You came
in this vote, it was supposed to be pretty much unanimous for David. We didn't really care what Bobby and Rachel did. And then after this, we were going to blindside Louie with the 5 that I just named, because I was told that there was a pre-merge alliance of Justin, Louie, Gracie, who I knew were already at 3, with Colin, who's already voted out, Travis, and Sam. That's what Anthony and Julia pulled me aside and told me that on the merge night. And I believed it, because we always talked about working with those 3 on the Red Tribe. And so it made sense to me that somehow that had happened. So that's when Julia and Anthony and I formed a bond to counteract that somehow. We're like, when the numbers get small enough, we're going to pull in Orange and go against what's left of that alliance.
So it sounds like David has been identified as a big threat, and yet he's still here. How is that happening?
I've seen him and Justin go off a lot, but I honestly don't know. He never pulled me aside, which, that's my bad. I don't know what to say to people that I've never had a conversation with them. They're the next vote. It's easy to just neglect a relationship that you don't think is going to be there much longer anyway. So I really don't know. I don't know anything about David's game. And if he makes it to the end, I'll be very impressed.
Speaking of the end of the game, given the players who are still in and the moves that you've been privy to or you're seeing them make, who do you see winning?
I'm very impressed with Gracie. I was coming into every confessional saying that she was my number 1. We were in control. And then when the Becca vote happened, it was very obvious that I was not her priority at all. That she worked very hard to save Louie that vote. Well, she didn't have to work that hard. She was the swing vote, but she told me that we were good to vote Louie, and then voted Becca out, and managed to convince Becca to vote me, which still blows my mind that even happened. I don't know what happened in that vote either. So I'm very impressed with Gracie's social game. She's a huge threat that's maybe a little under the radar.
Do you want her to win, or is there anyone out there in the mix that you're interested in seeing succeed?
No, they all voted me out, pretty much. I don't know who the Louie vote even was. I don't really care. They're all against me. I really don't. I don't have any vested interest. I just think Gracie is impressive.
Who do you think is going to follow you through the door?
It's a great question. I guess I'll say David.
And ultimately, who's calling the shots?
See, that's the thing. I was so blindsided. I feel like everything that I knew was a lie. Gosh, it's so hard. I'm gonna say Justin and Gracie are calling the shots.
All right, so setting aside game, because it sounds like it's going to unfold for you as more people join you. How was your experience?
It was great. As frustrating as we kept saying that why are we never swapping? We really had some fun times in our original Red Tribe, all throughout. And so there was like the really fun times where you get to experience personalities, and then there was some really great game stuff as well, because these people are fantastic players. So it was fun to be able to play.
Did you? I mean, you've played in other games before.
I've played one other game before, yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to ask how the survival challenge stacks up, but we always get to test ourselves as what kind of player we are in playing a live game. What did you learn about your own Survivor game by doing this?
Yeah, I always say that I think people play Survivor the way that they live their life. In some aspect, obviously, you're not the same person you are in the game as you are in real life, but in my real life, I'm much more meek and introverted and like go with the flow than I am. For some reason, when I get in this game, it does something to me, and like the switch turns on, and I'm on offense all the time, which is to my detriment. But I come off strong. I talk a lot. I'm loud, which I don't experience in real life at all. But the parallel is I'm very much in the middle in the game, which I'm kind of am in real life too. I'm not super like a polarizing person in real life. So my game is always just try and know as many different plans as possible, which obviously I didn't know any this time, but just know as many different plans as possible, and kind of just make sure that I'm good with multiple people instead of having just one or two people that I really trust. I try and spread myself more thin.
All right, well, it was a joy to watch you play.
Thanks.
As I told you before, you give great confessionals.
Thank you.
And where things go from here, obviously your game's not over. The
Right.
jury's a whole different ball game.
Yep.
And you've got Austin out there. Hopefully Brendan will be joining you.
Yeah.
And you guys get to decide the fate of the game, ultimately. We'll get you to challenges. We'll get you out there now so you can watch. You'll be at Tribals. And we'll have you sequestered tonight, but you'll have plenty of time to get all the information you need.
Cool. Thank you.
Great game.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.